And now I want to sit back and relax and enjoy my evening. When all of a sudden, I hear this agitating, grating voice.
Welcome to the experiment that seeks to answer one very simple question. Is love blind?
What?
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Love is Blind, the reality TV show where singles try and find a match without ever having seen each other face to face, has introduced a UK version of the show, which has been gaining a lot of popularity since its release. The franchise began in the US back in 2020 and has since spawned 8 additional international versions, the LIBCU, if you will. As an avid watcher of all the previous seasons of Love is Blind US, I have to say I was sapped for the UK version, as there's just something about UK reality TV shows that has a chokehold on me. Let's be real, it's probably 2 things: the accents and the banter.
Do you like banter?
Yeah, I love banter.
Sick, innit?
And while I found this season of Love is Blind entertaining and had a great old time watching it with my housemates, I got the same feeling at the end that I did with the last couple seasons of Love is Blind US, which is that this show doesn't really work.
I said what I said,
As
and
always.
I'm not changing on it, okay?
And we're going to explore why that is today. Hello everyone, and welcome to this little corner of the internet. If you're new here, well, hello. My name is Anishna, and it's lovely to have you here. Thank you for stopping by. And if you're returning, well, hey bestie, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming back. And also just a very quick thank you for 1,000 subscribers. Hello.
1,000
subscribers, so put up your fucking lighters.
It really does mean the world to me, and I'm super excited to see where this channel goes moving forward. So thank you so much for starting to cultivate with me this lovely little corner of the internet. So before we get into it, I'm sure a lot of you watching actually know Love is Blind because that's why you clicked on this video. But just so we get our newbies up to speed as well, I've employed my alter ego, Professor Anishna, to conduct a crash course for you. And for those of you who've already seen the show and know what it's about, there is a little quiz in order to pass the class. So let's see just how much of a Love is Blind expert you really are. Professor, take it away. Hello class, welcome to Love is Blind 101. I am your professor, Anishna, and I will be your lecturer for the duration of this course. To pass this class, at the end of the seminar, there will be a quiz. So frankly, it's important you pay attention. The series Love is Blind follows 15 men and 15 women who spend 10 days dating each other inside what is known as the pods, where couples can talk to each other but cannot see each other and communicate through a wall. The time spent talking to a single person can range between 15 minutes and multiple hours, and is designed to accelerate the dating process so that you can retrieve all the information that you would want to know about your prospective husband or wife.
Now I'm technically homeless.
What?
Should a pair of contestants choose to fall in love, one of them will propose. But the crucial thing to remember here is that in order to progress beyond the pods phase, you must propose. Otherwise, your Love is Blind journey ends at the pods and you will not get that health supplement contract. So once somebody has proposed to what is essentially a wall, the couple will then meet face to face. The face to face reveal is where it can get a bit spicy and dramatic because they can range from awkward to adorable.
I've got lipstick all over you.
Will you marry me?
Yes, yes.
I think I love you.
Okay.
Once they have met in person, to allow for the now engaged couple to have some one-on-one time together face to face, they embark on a couples retreat on some tropical island somewhere in the world for 1 week where they can further bond emotionally and physically.
We had sex twice.
On this retreat, they also get the opportunity to meet the other couples who got engaged in the experiment, which can get juicy for obvious reasons as they are all dating each other. If the couples manage to make it through this phase, because yes, some have not.
Fuck you, fucker.
Alright.
Kids, look, watch my ass to the next dick, boy.
Watch your wig, because it keeps sliding. It's been sliding since day one.
You think I am?
Your wig been sliding since day one. You ain't married to no
average bitch, boy.
Peace out.
Shut the fuck up.
The engaged couples then spend 3 weeks living together in the same apartment complex, meeting each other's friends and families, and further exploring issues and discussing things such as finances.
Like, would you be offended if I was to get something in place to say that my assets would be going to, say, my sister if I was to pass away?
That's what you said then.
The key canon events that make up the LIBCU are the wedding dress and tux try-on and the bachelor and bachelorette parties. And finally, on the day of the weddings, at the altar, each contestant will have to declare whether they do or don't choose to get married, thus testing the hypothesis as to whether love is truly blind.
Apparently.
Thank you very much for taking Love is Blind 101. To ensure your knowledge is up to scratch, we will now take a 3-question quiz. So question 1, when do participants go on the couples retreat? Is it A, once they get engaged, B, once they've seen each other face to face, or C, once they move in together? The correct answer was B. Once the couples have seen each other face to face after getting engaged, they can then embark on the couples retreat to a tropical island for 1 week. Question 2, true or false? The contestants propose to each other face to face. We're not doing the countdown this time, we got places to be, people to see. The correct answer was indeed false. The contestants have to propose in the pods through the wall. And once they see each other face to face, they typically do propose again. The final question. Question 3. The key events in the LIBCU are A, the face-to-face reveal, B, meeting family, friends, and loved ones, C, the wedding dress and tuxedo try-on, D, the bachelor and bachelorette parties, E, saying I do or I don't at the altar, and F, all of the above. The correct answer is F, all of the above. All of these options are part of what makes the LIBCU. So the assessment has now concluded. If you got at least one of those questions right, well then congratulations, you are a Love is Blind novice. And if you got all 3 correct, well congratulations, you are Professor of the Pods. But only one of us can be the Love is Blind expert, and that is moi. If you didn't get any right, no matter, you can either retake the course or you can just continue watching because it was a fake course and it doesn't really matter anyway. But at least now you're up to speed. So now that we're all well versed in the universe that is Love is Blind, we can talk tea. And since we're in the UK, you best believe that this season's tea is that high quality, pure English breakfast fit for a queen.
You're aware when she stayed at mine that she wanted to sleep with me and I said no, yeah?
The biggest plot twist of this season was revealed during the reunion, where we learned that Irish sweetheart Sabrina and Northern lumberjack with the heart of gold Stephen, a couple that was a no-brainer to both say yes at the altar, and an absolute joy to watch their chemistry and romance blossom on screen, were revealed to be separated and seeking an annulment, devastating fans everywhere, me included. And while this is upsetting and Sabrina and Stephen have had the better part of a year to heal and process, something about this whole situation and how it was dealt with and my response to it gave me the revelation of some issues that I'd been having with Love is Blind for a while, which led me to this point of looking at what it is about the show that doesn't really work and why it may not have a very long life left. Firstly, we have to look at the facts, okay? I crunched the numbers for all the seasons of Love is Blind US. Out of 29 couples that have gotten engaged on the show, only 9 have gotten married and are still together today. This gives Love is Blind a 31% success rate, and when we consider the statistics of the first season of Love is Blind UK, where 6 couples got engaged and 3 got married and 2 are still together, Love is Blind UK currently has a approximately 33% success rate. The 2 franchises currently have similar success rates. While this number is definitely not too bad, and other reality dating TV shows definitely have worse success rates, keep in mind that most of the couples from the US season as well as the UK have been together for less than 3 years, so it's almost too early to tell. But let's be real, regardless of my shoddy maths, this number is not compelling enough to stop producers from making this show and putting people through this process. But that's not necessarily what I'm even trying to highlight by pointing out this statistic. What's more telling for me is the distinct downward trend in the number of couples making it to the altar and as a result getting married. The trend speaks for itself. This format is declining in its success, and the next season of Love is Blind US will be very telling. And it's only so much fun watching couples break up when there aren't as many captivating love stories that we can hold on to balance it out. So let's do a little digging across seasons past using my Love is Blind expertise to determine why this show is deteriorating, at least in my eyes. But quickly, before we get into the reasons, I do want to preface that a lot of other reality shows have the issues that I'm going to be discussing with you. But for Love is Blind, I think it's how these elements interact together that makes it particularly difficult to maintain. Besides, yes, other shows have these problems, but this video is about Love is Blind. Do you see any other reality TV show in the title? The downfall of reality dating TV will have to be a topic topic for another day when I think it's actually happening. I also as well want to make very clear that this isn't a diss at anyone who watches Love is Blind and enjoys it. And I'm also not saying that anyone who does automatically endorses or permits these issues that we're going to discuss. I've watched all US seasons of Love is Blind and UK, and I'm a massive reality TV fan, but as somebody who loves media and analyzing it, I'm here to tell you that we can still critique media when it exploits people unnecessarily. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first and most obvious point is that reality TV has well and truly lost the plot when it comes to its stakes. No, not those stakes. We saw the same thing happen with Love Island, where the format of singles finding love in tropical paradise became so popular it spawned like 50 different versions of the same thing. I don't entirely know why marriage became the next foundational pillar of reality dating TV where it had to be included, but my theory is that once Married at First Sight came on the scene and therefore started gaining traction, subsequent reality TV dating shows felt like their stakes had to be equivalent to, if not higher than, the couple getting married. Yet Married at First Sight is still technically not legal, whereas Love is Blind is. And this was the appeal for the viewer, I guess, when Love is Blind actually came on the scene, in that no reality TV dating show had real life long-term implications the way getting married does with Love is Blind. And the appeal as a contestant, I can only speculate, is that not only do you gain that sweet, sweet D-grade celebrity status and reality TV influencer career, but if all goes well, you could actually gain a spouse and life partner, which, while yes exciting, puts a lot of pressure on the contestants in only the span of a month. This is because whether you personally believe marriage is a big deal or not, let's set that aside for a moment, because marriage is an institution that is so pervasive across social, cultural, and legal domains. The idea of marriage since pretty much its conception has been associated with maturity, commitment, and stability, which are highly regarded traits, and has even dictated how family units and relationship timelines are perceived. And if marriage has been upheld in this way pretty much since its conception, it stands to reason that divorce, the opposite of marriage, for the longest time was perceived as a form of failure. More importantly, a moral failure, and was something to be associated with shame and social ostracism.
Shame! Shame! Shame!
While perceptions of both marriage and divorce have certainly evolved in the last 20 years or so, previous attitudes towards them are still the dominant social belief. I say all of this to say that having Love is Blind make marriage the ultimate goal of the show subjects contestants to a much higher level of public scrutiny, shame, legal and financial ramifications if a couple splits up, which they have. And even if couples don't make it past the wedding, i.e. one or both of them say no at the altar, the humiliation and potentially even trauma that contestants must face when being rejected or rejecting somebody in front of their entire friends, family, and loved ones, and to have that televised, must be incredibly emotionally challenging and have lasting impacts on your mental health, at least for the short to medium term.
And that's being generous.
So this was actually a really difficult year for me. I was diagnosed with depression, I was put on anxiety tablets for the first time in my life, and I had to, like, a lot of anticipatory grief that I had to work through of kind of what the life I thought I was going to have.
Ultimately, I just feel like unnecessary pressure and anxiety is put onto a relationship that is only just starting to bloom and could have worked out if it wasn't for the outrageous caveat of needing to get married. There's a reason that shows like Love Island and Married at First Sight are 2 months long. The people need the time. You can't rush decisions like that, especially one that holds as much weight as marriage does for a lot of people, but not only a lot of people, but for social perception. And don't get it twisted. I'm not blind, see what I did there, to the fact that Love is Blind's marriage component is to build that tension and drama that comes with the highest of high stakes. And I hear that as a reality TV stan, but I feel like with all the reality dating shows that I have seen, there are definitely other ways to make these shows entertaining and spicy without forcing people into a legally binding contract in such a short span of time that will have long-term consequences for those people. The point is essentially me trying to say that the incorporation of the marriage in a month into Love is Blind just comes across to me as exploitative, because a breakup doesn't have the medium to long-lasting social and legal consequences that a divorce does, particularly because of its wider impact on loved ones, which we're going to talk about next. There's definitely something about the fiance and the friends and family of the other contestant meeting that does help Love is Blind to feel more grounded. grounded because contestants have to step outside of the Love is Blind bubble and into reality for a second, which we'll be discussing further in a moment. Usually the meetings go fine without much conflict, and the loved ones typically just bring up the biggest point of contention, which is the fact that this is all happening very quickly, which is very normal. And while these moments do give the show a dose of reality that it so desperately needs, it's also why these parts often, at least to me anyway, feel unsettling. Because the peripheral people are only really involved in Love is Blind because their loved one decided to go on the show, which is their prerogative to do, don't get it twisted. But it would be hard to accept wholeheartedly as a loved one because it is such a vulnerable position to be putting oneself in. And there's just something about the public humiliation of being rejected at the altar in front of all your loved ones, which impacts not only the contestants, but their loved ones too. But I'm not just hypothesizing this or the level at which it does impact loved ones. We have seen this play out firsthand on the US season of Love is Blind. And whenever it has, it's really truly broken something in me and just made me deeply uncomfortable that it's been televised and I'm watching it. The first example I can think of is Nancy's brother in season 3. So after Nancy's fiance, Bartise, says no at the altar, Nancy and Bartise leave the altar to go and talk about what just happened. Moments later, Bartise is confronted by Nancy's younger brother.
You brought me here. You brought your mother here to waste our motherfucking time with my sister. My only sister. I'm fucking this whole thing up. But yeah, you the one that want to bring us out here. Just say I don't, and I'm the one fucking this up.
And the reason he confronts Bartise is because he feels owed an explanation by both Bartise and Nancy for putting their family in that position. The second example is Clay's mother and father in season 6, which is the most recent season where contestant Clay has been struggling throughout the season with commitment issues, which stem from his dad's serial infidelity that he actually exposed Clay to as a child, and has as a result impacted his own relationships with women, including that of contestant AD. At the wedding, when Clay says no to AD, we're privy to an absolutely heart-wrenching conversation between Clay's mom and dad.
The marriage thing, the commitment, he struggles with that. He's like, I know you stayed, Mom, but there's things that I saw that I should not have saw. All of those emotions and twisted feelings, he took that to the altar. And although we came from broken families, that doesn't mean that we have to pass on that brokenness to our kids.
And the way Clay's father breaks down and the way both of them are talking about generational trauma, it just felt like we weren't supposed to see it. Like, it was a good teaching moment from Clay's mum, but I don't know if it had to be delivered in that way because it felt way too intimate for us to have witnessed that. And with Love is Blind UK, once contestants Jasmine and Bobby move into the apartment complex together, Jasmine begins to tell Bobby about her mum and how she's quite protective and judgmental, and we're then introduced to Jasmine's mum as she meets Bobby for the first time.
So I ended up not going to university.
It's very difficult to communicate with a non-educated person. I've always been involved with Jasmine. We talk like sisters, and I said, if you have secrets, tell me first, not your friends. I am your friend. I am the best friend that you could ever have.
As somebody who has and knows parents who have a similar backstory to Jasmine's mum, while I disagree with her mum's perspective, I could look at Jasmine's mum with a level of empathy that, let me tell you, the internet did not have. For me, she was somebody who was just looking out for her daughter, but the internet came for this woman's neck. So much so that Jasmine addressed it at the reunion and also put up a social media post about it as well. So these examples just go to show, to me anyway, how the Love is Blind producers actively take advantage of the reactions of contestants' loved ones when it is, in fact, an emotionally intense situation, so they are going to have particular reactions. And it particularly bothers me because these people did not necessarily sign up to this, and they're just trying to do right by the people that they love the most in this world. It also exposes the loved ones to a greater chance of public scrutiny because for most reality TV dating shows, when the contestant does go and meet the parents and the parents are featured on the show for a bit, there's nothing too intense happening for them to have a really emotional or aggressive response to the situation because they're just meeting a contestant that their loved one's dating, really. So by that token, when they do have an intense reaction, naturally people do talk about it and there's a high level of public scrutiny because it kind of feels unwarranted and people want to discuss that. Again, not condoning hate, but condoning critique. Whereas on Love is Blind, these families are meeting somebody that is essentially going to be a part of their family, by law. Daughter-in-law, brother-in-law. And so if you're already a close family, and even if you're not, you are probably going to have something to say about this, or fairly an intense reaction. I know I would. And this is further heightened by the fact that you've only known their fiance for a few weeks, which even more scarily is around the time that your loved one has known them for as well. If this wasn't already enough to warrant some strong reactions, imagine your response when your loved one gets rejected at their own wedding in front of everyone they know and love. As I said earlier, it's a pressure cooker of a situation. And unlike the contestants who get some kind of media training and mental health support, however minimal, they still get something, I can't imagine their loved ones get any at all, which makes it just that much more exploitative and uncomfortable for me to get on board with. So to sum up, it just feels a little bit icky to me that the Love Island producers use the contestants' loved ones and air those people's vulnerable and emotional moments to the masses when they're just trying to support the people that they care about and protect them. I reckon it is the biggest gripe I have with the show. And lastly, at the Love is Blind UK reunion, when discussing the reasons behind their split, Stephen cites the whole Love is Blind production being a honeymoon period and not real life as one of the main reasons for the breakdown of his and Sabrina's relationship.
When you're dating, it's being paid for, you're in picturesque places, you're falling in love rapidly. You haven't got to worry about where the next penny is coming from. Everything changes, that's the real world. That was the one thing we wasn't exposed to.
What he means by that is that the show creates a false sense of reality where your only focus and concern on a day-to-day basis is finding a match. You don't have bills to pay or work to go to, friends or family to hang out with, life admin. All you're doing day in and day out is trying to find the person you are going to marry.
What would you have me do, Mother?
Do simply what is needed of you. Nothing.
Most reality TV shows aren't expecting you to make a big decision that will have long-term consequences and actively change aspects of your life moving forward, such as where you'll now be living, will you have to change your job, what will your lifestyle look like now that you have to factor in your spouse. So the fact that the atmosphere is highly contrived is an issue more than it is for other shows. Sabrina even addresses the dilemma that she was having on her wedding day in an interview, which to me, what she was saying was just a huge red flag as to why the show is outrageous and it does not work.
My heart was like, this is your person, like of course you're going to marry him, like this makes perfect sense. Where my logical mind was being like, it's not been enough time, you haven't experienced the outside world together, you don't know where he, like anything about where he lives, his work, any of these kind of key things that really matter in a relationship. I just wish I had have listened to my intuition a little bit more, and that's probably been a lesson that I've really learned the hard way.
Because it's kind of setting you up to fail with the short timeline, false reality, and high stakes to ultimately get married at the end. And I just haven't personally seen enough videos of people talking about these fundamental flaws with Love is Blind, which I guess is what compelled me to make this video. So to wrap up, I absolutely love reality TV. Love Island, Real Housewives, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, F-Boy Island, I have seen it all. But as somebody who loves media and analyzing and unpacking it, particularly when it's reality TV because it is real people involved, I just wanted to talk about my personal gripes with Love is Blind to see if anyone felt the same or has any gripes of their own that they would like to share. So do I actually think Love is Blind is on its last legs? No, because enough people are watching it to keep it going. Like, they literally just released the UK franchise and I expect they want to do at least a couple seasons of it. But do I think it's going to get less and less entertaining and successful as more seasons come out? Yes. Because we can already see the downward trend of the number of couples not only making it to the altar, but getting married. And I don't know about you, but it becomes less and less entertaining to watch messy splits when you don't have other loved up couples to root for and balance it out, particularly when it's not even messy in a fun way, but in a, oh, this is going to be very expensive and legally tedious, or, oh, they've just been humiliated in front of everyone they love type of way. Who knows though, maybe it'll have a renaissance the way Love Island did with its most recent US season, but I just don't have the confidence that this format they've gone with enables that. As for me, I don't think I'll watch the upcoming seasons unless, like Love is Blind UK, I watch it with other people because that's when it's its most fun. But until then, this might be the last of mine and Love is Blind's love affair. Whatever will I do without the clichés? Only time will tell.
I'll never let go. I promise.
But if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. And if you liked what you saw, feel free to subscribe, as I do plan to talk about reality TV in the future. Let me know what you think of Love is Blind and the most recent season of UK in the comments below. And give it a like if you're nasty. Thanks so much, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.